Hey everybody, hope you're having a great finals. Hope you're enjoying the meeting. Have a wonderful time in Vegas. Sorry I couldn't make it out there this year, but I'm really excited to be able to contribute still and give my tip from the trailer. So my tip from the trailer is based around rib taping. Um, I know I go into the training room, the trailers all the time, see guys just throw some tape on them. Start usually from the posterior, wrap it up and around with that cover roll, and then throw a little bit of Luco tape on, let them go. Every guy kind of grimaces as you do it. Just let them out. One of the things that I've kind of noticed, and this is all dependent upon the injury. Today, I'm going to base what we're going to talk about a little bit more around the fracture. So that more outside lateral fracture. But depending on whether it is a fracture, posterior fracture, lateral fracture, you can kind of check with them. I'll show you real quick here how I'm going to do that to determine. But if it's fracture, if it's intercostal, if it's costochondral, all of those are going to vary the way that you should tape. You need to direction of pull. You need to kind of how you pull, what you're doing. Think anatomically what has happened. Also think anatomically or mechanism of injury, what happened and why it happened, especially thinking in the bareback riders when you're going that costochondral big rib flare that happens up, that pops up, and it's usually from that forced position, that forced opening here. We're not talking about that today. We're going to talk more on the fracture site. So fracture came up to me because I broke my ribs. I was doing some stuff around the house, around the farm, working out, training, trying to continue to do my stuff, and ended up being like, man, the way we tape does not help. I was having myself taped, or I was getting myself taped by some people, and it didn't help. And it wasn't they were taping it wrong. It was just the way we have traditionally taped was not helping for that outside fracture. So I got Jesse here. He's one of our athletic trainers with SAFC, our professional soccer team. He volunteered to come in and be a model. So when you start thinking about intercostal in between the ribs, costochondral kind of more up in here, even intercostal up through here, we'll get some of these higher rib intercostal stuff. But when you're thinking that rib fracture, that kind of fracture out on that outside, which we get a lot of, the thing that I want to do different, I don't want to, and I'm going to have him step up a little bit now as we have him turn. I don't want to pull from the posterior side and pull around. Think about what you're doing to a fracture that's there. You're basically pulling and giving that push there. You're basically taking this and you're pushing him around and compressing that, actually causing a shear on that bone, on that fracture site. So what we want to do is we actually want to like bridge or kind of protect that fracture by bringing up from the outside. I've done it depending upon the person, football players, and people like that. When I've done it in different situations, we've gone from the outside. I've had two people come with me, or I've had another person come with me and pull, or especially with our guys, a lot of times come up and just pull that pressure just like this. So always remember, I'm not going to do it with Jesse, but always remember, cover the nipple, especially if you're going to be going that high with your cover roll. Cover the nipple with a Band-Aid for them. One of the four-wing Band-Aids is always great. They will greatly appreciate you every time you do that for them. So starting off just like normal with our 6-inch cover roll, what we're going to do, Jesse, get a good wide base, athletic position, like you're trying to make sure to protect yourself from falling over. So what I'm going to come up here then and do is I'm going to put this pressure this direction. I'm not going to put a ton, but I'm going to come in, I'm going to lock in at that rib or that fracture site, and I'm going to come up following anatomically how that rib goes, and we're going to come up and across. Then what I will actually do over said fracture site is I will come in and I will bridge, and I will bridge with some Luco tape first. So what I mean by bridging is basically give support directly over it. Not as much of a pull, but kind of come up. Create like a support jacket there. And then as you get bigger with your tape, come in and do your directional pull. Make sure you tell them get a little bit of a strong base so that they won't get moved, get kind of rotated, and you won't get that nice directional pull on them. So as you come up, big pull right through there, covering that area a little bit above and below. Remember, you're wanting to follow the anatomy of the rib. You're wanting to the rib to move well. You're not so much wanting a shear. You're wanting to protect it. You're wanting to try to keep it in its place, in its position, rather than try to put a pressure towards it going one way or the other. That was my tip from the trailer. Hope you guys have a great time.